Welcome to another Splatoon 2 video on the channel. The Splat Brella has come out recently and I have been playing with it for quite a few hours. So what I thought I would do in this video is offer my thoughts on the weapon and maybe give some tips here and there. Maybe this could be classed as a weapon guide. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure whether this will be the comprehensive weapon guide that you guys will need with this Splat Brella, but I will give some tips based on the stuff that I found with this weapon. If you guys got any tips yourselves for the Splat Brella, then please leave them in the comment section below. I'm sure I and many other people will find them useful. I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff I have noticed about this weapon. So let's just get on with it. So the Splat Brella, it is definitely a lot different to all of the weapons in Splatoon 2, just because you got 3 different sort of modes that you can go into with the Splat Brella. If you just tap the ZR button, you will fire a burst shot which has a medium distance to it. I wouldn't really say it has that much range to it. I probably would say if you are tapping the ZR button, then you know, it's best that you do it in a close quarters situation. That's what I found. Maybe if you got like a medium range, but you will be outclassed by somebody like a Jet Squelcher user or a Splatshot Pro 96 Cal user. So yeah, it doesn't really have that much range to it, but it's got a little bit more range than a short range weapon. So yeah, the burst, it's quite difficult. I find it quite difficult to use to start off with, but it is fun to use. It is really fun to fire that off. So that is the first method. You got the second method. If you hold down ZR, then you will bring up the umbrella as a shield, and you will shield yourself from a few shots before it will break. And then the third method is if you hold down the ZR button for quite a while, then the umbrella itself will fire off, and basically will fire off in a trajectory and it will explode at the end of it. But what I've noticed that it does take quite a lot of ink, so whenever you are, you know, firing it off and then pressing ZR again, you know, you are using quite a lot of ink by firing off that umbrella. So I would definitely recommend using Ink Saver Main for this weapon. Like I always use Ink Saver Main for quite a lot of my weapons, and I pretty much had that on straight away. And even with Ink Saver Main, I do feel like it does run out of ink quite quickly. But I've only just got one main ability as Ink Saver Main. I need to get my 3 sub abilities Ink Saver Main as well. Ink Recover It Up, that's what I've got at the moment. I'm not really sure if it does that much difference, to be honest with you. You definitely don't need sub power up just because it's the sprinkler weapon. Maybe special power up. I can't remember. Thermal ink, that's the name of it. Thermal ink. Maybe that might be a good gear ability to use on this set, just because it does, with the ZR, when you are tapping ZR and with the burst shot, it does take maybe 2 or 3 shots to kill somebody. You have to get your aim proper spot on. If you're aiming at somebody's like shoulder, if you're not aiming at somebody full on, then it will take 2 or 3 shots to kill them, or to splat them. In Splatoon it's known as splats, not kills. So yeah, you got to get your aim proper spot on with the Splat Brella. I am noticing that I am getting quite outclassed by people like the Tentakeck, Splatshot, the Splatshot, Aero Spray, Tri-Slosher. So you got to get your aim spot on with this weapon, otherwise you might not have another chance to fire off your weapon, and that is what I'm struggling with, just because my aim, you probably will see that in the video, but my aim isn't really the greatest, and because I am missing maybe 1 or 2 shots, I am putting myself at a disadvantage. So you got to get your aim spot on. My next tip I would say is definitely use the shield and the second mode, so holding down ZR really is useful. I need to do that more often, I really do, and you probably will in the gameplay, you probably will barely see me bring up the shield. I would definitely recommend you bringing up your shield as often as possible, especially if somebody is quite far away, so that you can't really splat them with your burst shot. Maybe you could use the shield. Sort of reminds me of Reinhardt from Overwatch, how you could use the shield to get closer and then use your burst shot to splat them off. I definitely need to use that strategy a little bit more, but it does use quite a lot of ink. So yeah, ink saver main is a must for this weapon. That is definitely a must. And maybe thermal ink, maybe a good recommendation. And maybe some gear abilities like run speed up and swim speed up to get yourself close up to people. Maybe that will be a good choice for you as well, because I find this weapon to be better at short range distances. So they're just some of the things that I am noticing. It will take you a while to get used to this weapon. I'm just getting used to it myself, and I've been using it for a few hours now. So yeah, it will take you a while to get used to this weapon. It is a lot different to any of the other weapons in Splatoon, so it will take you quite a while to get used to it. That's if you haven't used it in the single player. Maybe you guys are already used to it, but yeah, that's just some of the things that I've noticed with the Splat Brella. I'm not really sure if I will be using it on a regular basis, but it is definitely fun to use. I'm not sure how strong it is in terms of the meta for Splatoon. That's just my thoughts. I'm not really sure whether people will use this on a regular basis, but I think if you use it in the right way, if you shield, it could be really useful. It really could be. I'm just like I'm using the weapon wrong at the moment, so it's just something which I've got to change my playstyle to get used to the weapon itself. So it's just something on my end that I've got to do. So yeah, it's just, I'm not really sure. I probably will put this as a weapon guide. It's just me giving a few tips based on the stuff that I've noticed. Like what I said, I'll use this in a short range situation. Mid range, maybe you could get away with it. Definitely not long range. I would say it's more of a shorter range weapon, but then again, if your aim isn't right, then you will get outclassed by normal weapons like the splatter shot, tri-slosher, aero spray. So you got to be really careful. You got to have your aim spot on, and that is what I'm struggling with as well. So yeah, that's just it for this video. Again, I'm sure I have missed out on some basic tips, so leave them in the comment section below. I'm sure I haven't covered everything, but yeah, if you have noticed something yourself, then list them in the comments. I'm sure I will find it useful, and many other people will as well. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you have enjoyed the gameplay in the background, but that is it for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Hopefully I've got plenty more Splatoon 2 videos coming out soon on my channel. They are just taking quite a while to edit, so yeah, really am enjoying the game. Really am looking forward to what's coming next with the game as well. And yeah, we'll see you next time. So since the recording, I have played a little bit more with the Splat Brella, and I'll definitely say this is a close quarters weapon. Definitely does take 2 or 3 splats to actually finally finish a person off. That is definitely something which I did notice when testing the weapon in the firing range in Splatoon 2. So yeah, it's definitely a close quarters weapon, but like what I said earlier, if you use the umbrella, then maybe you could battle against somebody that is mid-range. Use the umbrella as a shield and get close to them, and then take them out once you are close enough. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on the weapon itself. In terms of gear abilities that I would use with the Splat Brella, I'll definitely use the sub saver. Like currently I've got ink recovery up. I'm not really sure it is needed on this weapon, so I probably might change that for either run speed up, which I think might be quite useful, just to get up close to your opponent quicker. I think run speed up will be really important, or sub saver, just because when you are using your sub weapon, it does take quite a lot of ink. I've already talked about ink saver main. That is a must for this weapon in my opinion, and I think swim speed up will be another good gear ability to use as well. So yeah, I just wanted to add this little bit just because early on I did say that maybe this weapon is like a mid-range sort of a weapon. Maybe you could, you know, take people out at mid-range. I wouldn't say that at all. This is definitely a close quarters weapon if you are, like what I said, using it like a normal blaster. But maybe you could get away with, you know, using the umbrella as a shield when battling somebody mid-range. So like if they are using something like the 52 cal or a splatter shot and they are mid-range, then maybe you could use your umbrella as a shield to get close to them and then take them out once you are close enough. So now just repeat himself, so that is the perfect time to press that stop button. That is it for this video, and I will see you next time.